Photographs, videos, and footprints, but no body, not yet, but that could soon change. After months of research, reading through conspiracy theories and eyewitness testimony, I believe that I have pinpointed the location of every single Bigfoot ever reportedly killed or where a body has been seen. There's a body here, here, and here. Some are confirmed hoaxes, some are of legend, but most have a bit of weight behind them. At the end, I'll let you know which of these bodies you might actually be able to find. Do you want to be the one to prove Bigfoot's existence? Let's get right into it. The first reported killing of a Bigfoot comes from sometime in the 1770s, when frontiersman and explorer Daniel Boone killed a 10-foot-tall hairy giant he called a Yahoo. This is a name he took from one of his favorite books, as the term Bigfoot did not exist yet. Boone reportedly shot the Yahoo in Kentucky, near what is now known as Yahoo Falls. The next location is Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia. In 1829, a group of hunters had entered the swamp and discovered a set of large footprints. Hearing this story, another party decided to enter the swamp in pursuit of the creature. The creature attacked their camp and killed 5 men before being fatally shot. The men left the body, for they feared that other creatures had heard its screams. A possible Bigfoot skeleton was found with bullet holes in its skull in 1856. The skeleton was either found in Ohio or West Virginia. This photo of a Bigfoot body comes from the Yallecom River near Lillooet, British Columbia. The photo was taken back in 1894 and appears to show a bound Bigfoot with a distinct head and huge legs. The photo originally appeared in a 1982 book titled The Bigfoot Casebook. This photo is just one photo from a series that was taken by the Hudson's Bay Company. No one knows where the other photos are, nor where the body is now. In 1900, on Prince of Wales Island, Alaska, an Inuit encountered a Bigfoot on a beach. The man shot and killed the creature. He was accompanied by 2 other Inuit as they buried the Bigfoot on the beach. Gardner Canal, the longest fjord in British Columbia, 1905. A Sasquatch was reportedly killed here, but there are no details about the event. As reported by John Green, an indigenous man from Kitimat shot a Sasquatch but chose not to take the body after being threatened by others. He later went back with a group, but the body was gone. This was in the early 1900s. In Terrebonne, Louisiana, hunters killed a Bigfoot and dumped its body in an old well. The skeleton was retrieved and taken to Tulane University, where it disappeared. This was in 1921. Anyone who has read up on Bigfoot has likely heard of the infamous Ape Canyon incident. In the summer of 1924, a group of hairy apes attacked 4 miners hiding in a cabin at Mount St. Helens, Washington. The miners had been prospecting for gold for 6 years before the incident, and they left shortly after it took place. Overnight, the apes threw rocks at the cabin, banged on the walls, and tried to force their way inside. The attack lasted hours. The men shot at the ape creatures, and one was reportedly killed after falling down a cliff and into a river. The men left the cabin in the morning and never returned. The supposed body has not been recovered. Bella Coola, BC, 1928. An ape was shot on a hill above South Bentinck Inlet. There was no attempt made to recover the body. Sometime after 1937, in Green River, Washington, a hunter saw a bear savaging a log and killed it. It turned out that this was no bear, but rather a Bigfoot. He thought that it was just a very hairy man, so he buried it under a pile of rocks. He never told anyone about this until he confessed on his deathbed. In 1940, down in southeastern Missouri, Jared Sparks killed a creature that he described as like a gorilla. It had been killing horses and cattle by tearing them apart. Now over to Manitoba. In November 1941, a 17-year-old hunter shot a dark figure that he had mistaken for a moose. The man claims that it was about 8 feet tall and looked a lot like the subject in the Patterson Gimlin film. The man left and didn't tell anyone about the encounter, for he was illegally hunting and the body was in a very remote location. An artist met with the man who killed the Bigfoot and produced this painting, which is apparently accurate to what he saw. The body should be located somewhere around Basket Lake. This next Bigfoot was obliterated by shotguns. It was hit with nearly 60 bullets after it was tracked by a group of men along the South Carolina border in Georgia. The corpse was buried on the outskirts of a nearby town. It was reported that the Bigfoot had been killing sheep and calves by tearing their legs off. 1943. In 1949, Peter James of Hope, BC, saw 2 old Sasquatch men and 1 Sasquatch woman carrying the body of a dead Sasquatch girl. They carried her up a mountain near Othello and set the body on a shelf of rock. 1953, Alder Creek Canyon, Sandy, Oregon. Just east of Portland, a hunter shot and killed a Bigfoot, then buried the body. From 1958 to 1960, a Bigfoot in Overton County, Tennessee, was caught repeatedly stealing chickens. The Bigfoot was shot dead by the farm owner. It was driven around to see if anyone could identify what it was. 1960s, Douglas County, Oregon. A farmer shot a Bigfoot near the Umpqua National Forest and took the body back to his house. He left the body outside his home. That night, other Bigfoot came to the house and took the body. In 2011, a book was published called The NASA Conspiracies: The Truth Behind the Moon Landings, Censored Photos, and the Face on Mars. In Chapter 13, there's a story about a highly unusual humanoid body. In 1963, a man read a classified report and viewed a number of color photographs of a strange creature that had been recovered by NASA personnel. The body was recovered in the surrounding woodlands at the John H. Glenn Research Center in Louisfield, Ohio. Just days before, it had been shot and killed by NASA security. The corpse had traits of both human and ape. It was 9 feet tall and covered in short, coarse brown hair. The body was autopsied and then disappeared. The Minnesota Iceman toured the United States and Canada through the 1960s and early 70s. It was advertised as the missing link between the modern human and a Neanderthal. The creature has been described as 6 feet tall, hairy, with long legs, long arms, and a rather large head. The thing looked like Bigfoot. The promoter and exhibitor, Frank Hansen, claimed that he was taking care of the body for an eccentric California millionaire. He gave 3 different explanations for where the body originally came from. 1. The body had been discovered floating in a block of ice off the Siberian coast by a Russian seal hunting vessel or a Japanese whaling ship. 2. The ape man was killed in Vietnam and flown to the United States. 3. It was killed by a hunter near Aurora in northern Minnesota. Scientists did determine that the body was a hoax. It was also auctioned off on eBay in 2013. If you want to see the Minnesota Iceman today, you can visit the Museum of the Weird in Austin, Texas. In 1965, near Kitimat, British Columbia, a man shot and killed a Bigfoot. While attempting to drag the body back to town, he was attacked by a group of Bigfoot. He was just barely able to escape to his canoe. This next one is interesting. In 1967, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin traveled to Bluff Creek in California, where they filmed the most famous Bigfoot video of all time. The Patterson Gimlin massacre theory was proposed by Bigfoot hunter M.K. Davis. He believes that Patterson and Gimlin did not just film a Bigfoot on October 20th, 1967, but shot multiple. He claims that in the film, you can see a pool of blood. Patty was the only survivor. Next year, in 1968, 2 young men went hunting and shot a Bigfoot point blank in the chest. This was near Jackson Hole in Wyoming. The men were terrified that they had killed a human and immediately drove back to Idaho. One of the men attempted to find the exact spot several years later, but was unsuccessful. Another Bigfoot was reportedly killed in Wyoming, also in 1968. This time, north of Casper. A rancher hired 3 men to kill a Bigfoot that had been killing his sheep and cows. The men were successful, but then a government helicopter came along and took the body to a research center in Alamogordo, New Mexico. After this incident, one of the men involved in the Casper incident shot another Bigfoot in Alabama. The government once again found out about this and was angry at the man for killing another Bigfoot. Sometime after 1969, in Clark County, Washington, near Mount St. Helens, a man shot and killed a Bigfoot, then tried to sell it. He stopped when he thought that it might have been illegal to kill Bigfoot. In 1970, in Spokane, Washington, a hunter reportedly shot and killed a Bigfoot. A Sasquatch charged a group of 3 men at Elm Creek in Texas. They shot and killed it. Then a second one charged them. Once again, they shot and killed it. The men buried the bodies down by the creek. The group chose not to tell anyone, for they believed that they would be prosecuted for homicide. It should be noted that this story was told anonymously on a radio show. This next one is just unbelievable. In May of 1976, a Bigfoot was reported in Baltimore. Police were called, and canines tracked it to an interstate tunnel. An officer then saw it run under the interstate. The next month, there was another report of the Bigfoot, and U.S. Army personnel responded. Soldiers either killed or captured the Bigfoot. In 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted. The aftermath was devastating. Dozens of people and thousands of animals were killed. Members of the National Guard were tasked with retrieving animal bodies. Persistent rumors state that military rescue crews didn't just recover animals after the eruption, but that they also encountered Sasquatch. During cleanup, some people reported seeing Sasquatch bodies being taken away and guarded at specific locations by soldiers. Some soldiers even claim that they were specifically tasked with following around one injured Bigfoot to find other injured members of its species. Georgia is home to a number of legends and creatures of folklore. This includes both Bigfoot and werewolves. In 1986, a man was driving along Roddy Highway in Cochran, Georgia, when a tall bipedal creature ran onto the road and was directly struck. It was killed instantly. The man called Highway Patrol, and they took away the body, but not before at least 30 other people saw the corpse. The peculiar thing about this one was that it did not resemble your typical Bigfoot. It was similar to a werewolf. This sketch was provided by the man who hit it. This is the most famous story of a Bigfoot being killed. The Fort Knox tragedy. A retired police officer and military veteran losing his battle with cancer came forward with a story of his troop gunning down an entire Bigfoot family. One of them was stuck in a bear trap, desperately trying to escape. A male, a female, and 2 children were all killed. This happened near the Fort Knox military base in 1989. In the documentary Shooting Bigfoot, the Bigfoot hunter Tom Biscardi interviews James.
I'm sitting here with a guy named James for right now in the state of Arkansas. And at this point in time, we're just going to call him James. That's the reason why you're not seeing his face. He's had a remarkable incident going on in his life. What year did this whole thing start, Rocky?
It was in February of '94.
Just a second, because you just used his name there.
Ooh, I'm sorry. Take 1, take 2.
In short, Rocky from Arkansas killed a Bigfoot in February 1994. It's not clear whether this actually took place in Arkansas, but that's all I have to go off of. The Siege of Honobia was an attack on a homestead in rural Oklahoma in January 2000. A Bigfoot was shot and killed as a part of a group that was harassing the residents. The other Bigfoot carried off the dead one. La Follette, Tennessee had been experiencing an animal massacre. Multiple people had reported their animals being killed. On November 12, 2003, the police were called to stop this. Locals claimed that there was a Bigfoot in the area and they had been leaving food out to appease it and prevent it from killing their animals. The police told everyone to keep their pets indoors as they went to eliminate the animals responsible. To their surprise, they actually ended up tracking down a Bigfoot. They shot it dead on a hill. People heard sirens wailing and the Bigfoot screaming. A large black body was seen lying in a field the next morning. Not long after, the body vanished. A Bigfoot native to the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota had been given the name Chiatonka. In August 2006, while on the reserve, it was shot and killed. It was given to the School of Mines for academic purposes. The school sent it back, and it was given a traditional ceremonial burial by Lakota elders. Rick Dyer, along with Matthew Whitten, claimed to have discovered a dead Bigfoot in the North Georgian mountains back in 2008. Dyer said he shot the massive animal and kept the corpse in a freezer. He presented photos of the frozen body at a press conference. When a Bigfoot researcher attempted to study the body, he touched one of the feet, and realized that it was a Bigfoot costume filled with animal parts. Later, in 2012, while filming for the previously mentioned documentary Shooting Bigfoot, Dyer baited and fatally shot another Bigfoot using pork ribs marinated in a special barbecue sauce, this time in San Antonio, Texas. In the documentary, there is even footage of the Bigfoot attacking the film's director. This body toured around the United States, but was once again exposed as a hoax. Rick Dyer is one of the most infamous names in the Bigfoot community. If you want to hear more about the hoaxes and the documentary, check out my other video. This next one is brutal and will probably make some people uncomfortable. It contains a graphic description of something being killed. If you don't want to hear it, skip to this mark. In 2010, 2 hunters went hunting in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. While driving, they spotted a 7-foot-tall creature that they could not identify. The men stopped their truck, and one of them stepped outside of the vehicle with his rifle drawn at the creature. It looked like a person in a bear suit. The driver was urging his buddy not to shoot it. He hesitated, but ultimately pulled the trigger. While it limped away, they put a second shot in its behind, and it screamed in pain. When the hunters caught up to it, it was still alive. The hunter put another shot in its neck, it choked on its own blood, and finally died. The men buried the body and fled the scene, planning on returning later. Unfortunately, a large storm rolled in, and their return was delayed. When the men did finally return, they could not find the body, but they did find hair. Lab results showed that the hair was simply part of a unique bear pelt. In 2012, a Sasquatch ran across US Highway 93 just south of Kalispell in rural Montana. It was struck by one vehicle and ran over by another. Tragically, Randy Lee Tenley was killed while attempting to hoax a Bigfoot sighting that night in hopes that someone would call it in. On February 2nd, 2021, Leroy Simmons uploaded a short video to YouTube claiming to have found a dead baby Bigfoot.
Where is that? Jesus.
There is little to nothing to go off of to pinpoint the location of this video. These next 5 are all of unknown dates. At Clacka's Inlet on Prince of Wales Island, a Bigfoot was reportedly shot and buried at the mouth of a stream on the north side of the inlet. A hunter in Sonora, Mexico, claimed that he shot and killed a Bigfoot and buried the body in the wilderness. A wealthy hunter shot a Bigfoot and had it stuffed. It now sits in an exclusive country club somewhere on the East Coast. Near the Columbia River in Yankton, Oregon, a hunter shot a Bigfoot in the head. When he returned the next day, the body was gone, but he found 3 sets of tracks in its place. Amboy, Washington. A hunter reported that he shot and killed a male Bigfoot on an old logging road near Mount St. Helens. Upon hearing that there was a $10,000 fine for killing a Bigfoot, the hunter went silent. Alright, so to summarize, these bodies were hoaxes, these ones have been removed, this one was a person, these bodies would likely be completely decomposed by now, but these ones could still be out there, just waiting to be rediscovered. Thanks for watching.